So guys, in the past few weeks, we've actually got a ton of new info from the devs about what's coming next to Hell Let Loose in Update 6, most importantly, on a couple of new RECON vehicles. But not just that, just this week, we also got some news on the next map that's coming to the game as well. So guys, this is BillyEatWorld again, and let's find out. Alright guys, how you going? Welcome to the video, and to kick off, well, I just want to apologize because I usually try and put out one of these Hell Let Loose update videos at least once a week, and well, lately that hasn't been possible. As you obviously know, the world is kind of crazy at the moment with the COVID-19 crisis, and well, unfortunately my life has been massively affected by this, as I'm sure it's affected a lot of you guys. Now, I don't really want to get into the details, but basically all you need to know is that my day job is actually in the music industry, which obviously isn't going too well at the moment. And in the past few weeks, that's meant that I've actually had to move house. And so, look, the last few weeks have just been trying to get back into something resembling normality, which I think I've got to this week, which hopefully means that I'll be starting to get back making regular videos very soon as well. Now, just on that note, the first thing I want to mention in this video is that obviously this crisis has affected the games industry as well, with many big studios shifting almost entirely to working remotely. And well, that's meant that even though more people are probably at home playing games at the moment, we're kind of going to see a drop in the amount of content that devs are physically going to be able to put out. Well, turns out that's apparently not going to be the case for Hell Let Loose. Apparently Black Matter and Team 17 aren't that badly affected by working remotely, and as you can see, they've even gone and put out a new roadmap for content coming this year as well. And so even with all this craziness going on in the world at the moment, according to the devs, quote, they're very optimistic and excited for 2020, with many new features, maps, weapons, and customization options to come. Now, moving on, and speaking of new features, let's get on to what's actually going to be coming in Update 6. And well, in the last video, you might actually remember the devs gave us our first look at one of the new upcoming RECON vehicles. And sure enough, like we said, the vehicle that they were talking about that we're going to be getting for the German team is called the Puma. And for the US team, we're also going to be getting a new vehicle called the M8 Greyhound. Now, you might have realized by now these vehicles aren't actually tanks. They're armored cars, which means they're going to be lighter, faster, and more maneuverable. But obviously, as a trade-off for this, according to the devs, even though they are going to be immune to small arms fire, they're going to be very weak to basically all AT weapons, and they're not going to be able to deal that much damage to heavily armored vehicles either. Now, speaking of heavy vehicles, well, I thought it was kind of weird this week because the devs actually put out an earlier than usual dev briefing about a new tank that was apparently coming to the game as well. And well, if you're not familiar with the crazy super heavy land ships the Germans tried to build towards the end of the war, well, this one you can see on screen now is called the Rat. And what you can see on the top there is a 28cm naval gun turret. Now, as for the Germans actually trying to develop this thing in real life, well, that's actually no joke. But sadly, no, the devs aren't going to be bringing this to the game. It was just an April Fool's prank, which I've got to say it looks like they put some serious effort into. Now, I could be wrong, but it looks like they've actually modeled it in-game, which makes me wonder if maybe there's a dev build floating around out there that actually has this thing playable. But finally, moving on, the most recent bit of new info we've just got this week, and the last thing I want to talk about in this video is the brand new map the devs have just announced called Hill 400, which, as you'll notice, looks a lot like the vanilla map Hurtgen Forest, which honestly isn't a bad thing because that's probably my favorite map biome in the game so far. Now, the reason it does look so similar is because apparently the Battle of Hill 400 took place in the same area at the end of the Hurtgen Forest campaign and just before the Battle of the Bulge started. And according to the devs, quote, the hill is the highest point in the Hurtgen area and was considered a strategic objective to both sides. Now, we don't have a tactical map for this one yet, but what we do have is a ton of screenshots. And as you can see, it's going to feature thick forest, steep slopes, and a lot of protruding rocks. And not just that, but apparently the devs are also building it with two presets, a misty morning preset and an overcast day preset, which you'd have to think should be tied into one of the two game modes. Now, I should mention that we don't know if these things are going to be featured in the map or not, but the devs did specifically mention in the official post that the real battlefield featured a ruined castle as well as a small village to the west called Bergstein, which should be pretty interesting, but we don't really have any concrete confirmation on that so far. But in saying that, I think what we can assume is that this one is going to be kind of like what Omaha Beach was to Utah Beach. In other words, more fleshed out and just generally better designed. But anyway, guys, that just about wraps it up for this quick video. So as always, make sure you let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And just remember that I can't possibly cover all the details in these dev posts in the one video. So if you want more information, I'll leave all the links down in the description and you can check them out for yourself. As always, though, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And please feel free to check out the links in the description if you want to see any more of these videos. And also, don't forget you can find my Twitter and Discord links down there as well if you want to keep in touch. And as always, until next time, see you later and have a good one.